Hello again, Star Wars and Unboxing fans. Welcome to another episode of Darth Tuba's Star Wars Unboxing Show. I'm your host, Darth Tuba, and today we have a very special unboxing. One from the wonderful, awesome Amazon Prime. And, well, before we get into what this is, we'll talk about anything in the news this week. I think in the last couple of days it's been a little bit quiet. There hasn't been much going on other than, just people talking a lot about their opinions about the idea of J.J. Abrams utilizing reshot or previously unused footage of Carrie Fisher for Episode 9. And the way I see it is one of his comments or tweets or in pieces of information in interviews that was laid out was that which I thought was something very, very interesting. They essentially admitted, or he essentially admitted that without Carrie Fisher, they did not have what he felt was a suitable enough story way to wrap up the Skywalker saga. So they're going to use, I'm assuming it's going to be like a Paul Walker thing where they're going to use previously unreleased footage, maybe some body doubles that, from turned away scenes and things of that nature. I don't know. We will all find out in about a year and a half, and that's okay. Personally, there's been a lot of talk. I know that Disney did not want to recast her. They did not want to do a CGI thing like they did with Peter Cushing or the young Leia from Rogue One. I get all that. I understand that. My own personal view is just that, whatever furthers the story. If you have a way to tell this story and you believe that it's the strongest story you can tell and it has previously unreleased footage of Carrie Fisher that'll make it work, then go for it. If there's no way to do it, if you have a story that you can tell without Carrie Fisher, which I think that, there were certainly ideas that might work. I've heard people's theories and things of that nature that could work, especially if it's a jump to the beginning. And I think in a lot of ways that Episode 8 kind of felt like Carrie Fisher was almost, or at least the character of Leia, General Leia, was almost kind of anticipating her eventual departure from this story because she wanted Poe to take over as a leader and other people to take over the leadership roles. But, so I don't know if they absolutely needed her, but we'll see where the story goes. I'm sure that it'll be bittersweet to watch, but I'm sure it'll be neat. So, other than that, not much else going on in the news this week, so why don't we get right to our unboxing. This was ordered from Amazon, and yes, I'm going to say it, Amazon is very rapidly going to become, I feel, the new method for Star Wars collectors if it hasn't already become so. With Toys R Us closing, we still have big box places like Toys R Us, like Target and Walmart and other places like that. Unfortunately, depending on where you live, sometimes they do not have a strong, there isn't one nearby, or when there is one, they don't always take a lot of space. They only give a lot of space to Star Wars, particularly with other movies coming out, with their tie-ins and everything else. And right now, we have a long ways to go. We have the longest stretch of time since Force Awakens came out. We have the longest stretch of time that we've ever had prior to that we don't have a Star Wars movie coming out. And that's okay. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that, there are other movies that come out, and they have toy tie-ins. So the toy sections of places like Walmart and Target need to give them their space. So it's important to be aware of that. So for many, the Amazon, and other online retailers, places like Entertainment Earth, Brian's Toys, Dorkside Toys, there's sometimes for people they kind of throw in the towel and say, look, I like the thrill of the hunt, but if I really want to collect these items, I need to do it this way. So I kind of am still in the mix. I do a little bit of hunting and do a little bit of this. But let's talk about what this is. This is really cool. This came out, and I don't know if it's an Amazon exclusive or a Hasbro store exclusive. I'm not quite sure, but I do know that it's awesome, and that is the Rogue One Imperial Combat Assault Tank. All right, from Rogue One. So awesome. Excuse me for the noise. Hey. All right, so awesome. I mean, let's just talk about the box, okay? I know this is an unboxing channel, and I'm okay with it being an unboxing channel. I'm totally in support of it being an unboxing channel. But look at this box, okay? It is awesome. For those youngins that are watching the show, okay, this is what they call, I guess a lot of people call it the racing stripe. And this is the design that all vintage toys, this is the toys that were released from 1978 through around 1984. I think it switched over to a different kind of look in 85, 86, those last few years when it was Power of the Force, then switching to Droids and Ewoks. But from like 1978 to 1984 approximately, this is what the boxing looked like. So this has a real nostalgic look to it. They call this the Vintage Collection, and about 10 years ago, they released figures as the Vintage Collection, and now they're bringing that back, which we've had a previous unboxing with, and now they have these as well. Okay, so cool, so awesome. Some of the key features on this that I love, and I'll get some good close-up photos of this as well, is the fact that they have this great photo montage that you see, and what's really cool about it is that, like, you know, these days, I think that even Star Wars has been guilty of, you know, going with like stylized art, and I have no problem with that. I love the stylized art, but it is nice to see a really cool photo with that solid color background, the blue, in this case, solid color black background. You got this great photo montage with a bunch of stormtroopers along with the driver. Okay, it's got, again, the racing stripe, and then on the front you have this. You have the Star Wars logo. I mean, Star Wars had a certain logo that you saw in the movies. Okay, you know, you saw the Star Wars big yellow letters kind of fade to the back of space, and then followed by the scroll. You had the movie posters, which each had a slightly different look to it. But then you had the toys, which essentially had the Star Wars at the top, and then somehow they had the title of whatever movie that the item was from, or most notably from, and they had that there. In this case, since this is a new vehicle from a newer movie, Rogue One, they have created a new Rogue One. Well, it's similar in essence to the Rogue One that you saw in the opening title. So really, really cool. Lots of cool features on the side. Shows you some things that you can do. And again, I'll get some close-up photos of everything. Okay. And again, this is the Imperial Combat Assault Tank. This is the tank that you see on Jeddah early in the film, and then there was a big shootout nearby it with Jyn Erso and Cassian and all of Saw Gerrera's men against the stormtroopers. So it's a really cool thing. So yes, I am going to open it. Sorry, but I will keep this box. Okay, I will. I generally keep boxes that are nostalgic or that have a really cool look to them. I have a lot of my old vintage boxes, and maybe one day I'll do that. That's an idea. Never thought of that. Bring out the old boxes and have like a box, do an unboxing of my boxes so you can see. I don't, you know, keep them all. I've bent them. They're not in any good shape, but I did, you know, I do have a nostalgic, you know, attachment to them. So I'm good with that. All right. So let's take this and open this up and see what we got. Now again, every time you get one of these things, you never know if it's going to be mostly intact, mostly in pieces. This one looks like it's pretty much intact. Now let's see. I'm going to have to... Now generally I do not keep the box inserts. I can't even tell you though, folks. Even, you know, when it comes to the original vintage toys, even box inserts, even these little tiny pieces of cardboard that had served no purpose other than to keep the item from shifting in the box so it wouldn't get damaged, even they have a value. You can somehow prove that it's the original from the original 70s toys. Even they have a value, and it's crazy to think about. This looks like it's pretty straight up. It's pretty normal. A little bit shocked at that, to be honest with you, because the price on this one was a little high. I did get a slight discount, but the price of it is a little high. It doesn't look like there's any power battery pack. It does have moving treads. That's cool. All right, let me get the rest of the pieces out here. We have our nifty... not sure what that is. Oh, I guess it's just a divide. We have our nifty little containers here that held the Kyber crystals, so that's cool. And it doesn't look like this. Oh, wait, I forgot our guns here. Yeah, it's pretty simple. It doesn't look like it has any major labeling or anything of that nature, so that's neat. All right, but we do have instructions here. Even the instructions kind of have a, you know, vintage look to them. I'll even take a picture of that, okay, so you can see that up close. And you know, it's funny, like, what's always good. Now, you may not be able to see this up close, but this has a lot of that really, really taut, rubber bandy kind of stuff. I wonder if this stuff can cut that. I don't know. Oh, yes it can. Okay, good. So, pair of scissors, or in my case, a pair of needle nose pliers that have the thing on the end. That generally can cut those pretty easily. Or you could just pull them shut. Pull them out. But you got to be careful because sometimes they have a good grip to them. Alright, and it looks as though... Okay, I'm looking here. Alright, so first we have our guns. The guns are pretty simple. They have like a little thing like that. Comes in. Alright, got that. And that. Okay. And then next we have the containers. And then I guess you open these. Canisters for display only. Okay. As opposed to what? Alright. Trying to open them, but I'm not having much luck. Let's see if I can get this. Let me try another one here. Maybe there's a... Oh, maybe they don't all open. Okay. Oh, I see. Oh, okay. So they have... So the canisters open up, and they each come with... And I'll get close-ups of these as well. They each come with the kyber crystal. Alright, so there's a little kyber crystal thing. So that's a nice little play feature. Okay, and then they close. I don't know if all of them do this. Yeah, sounds like... Yeah, so basically what it means is one of them opens up to reveal 3 kyber crystal containers. Right? And the others are just for show. Okay, which... I think that's a little cheap on their part. I think it might have been nice if they, included the whole thing. But that's okay. Anyway, so then you have... Alright, so we also have, in addition to that, we have these bases that slide out. So I think the reason for this is that on the inside here you can actually you could use the tank to hold people, to hold some figures. There's about 8 little pegs, so you can fit, maybe they're meant to hold 4, one each leg on a peg, or maybe you can somehow squeeze 8 in there. Okay, so that's good. And then you can lay it down like this and pull these things can lay on the side, or you can lay them on top like this. It's hard to kind of make out, but so you can see there, you can lay them up as a base. And then you can line up your 3 containers. Now I'm guessing that the most flat side is probably the way they should go. 1, 2, 3. I'm not sure if it's better to go this way or this. See, you know what? This way looks to me more. I could be wrong on this. I should grab the box and just look to see. It's kind of hard to tell. Yeah, they have them like that. They have them with the more decorative side out. Now there's also a, apparently, you can somehow, there's a little position here for the, now if only we had a Imperial tank trooper. Of course we do. Those who have seen previous episodes, we can just plop him right in there like that. And this is definitely old school, where this is the 5-point of articulation's legs don't bend, so they just kind of drop a hole in there for them to drive, so that's cool. Now it does say, I'm looking here, and it says view engine, rotate cannons. Okay, so you have, I'm going to put him out for a minute. Apparently there's a little tiny spot in here. Okay, so you can actually pull this out. Oh, look at that. All right. You can pull this out and you actually have room for more soldiers. Okay, that's cool. And there's a little side one here. Take that out and you can look at the engine. All right, again, I'll get some close-ups of this. All right, so that's cool. So there's some neat play features. Would have liked to see maybe an explode away feature. I love those. Those are fun. But for the purposes of for display, it's really nice. It's a nice piece. It doesn't take up too much room. Anybody, and again, like I said, if you put this thing into push mode, and hold on to my little floor here, the treads on the bottom do move. All right, so you have guns in the front here. You have the side guns. Okay. So all in all, a pretty cool playing piece. Okay, definitely leaving more up to the imaginations, which I think is a good thing. I can get this where you can see it better. What I mean by that? Well, we have received. There have been toys that have been released, like the Falcon and the AT-ATs and a few others that came with all these bells and whistles. That came with electronics, and you have sound effects and even some motion effects, and that's great. That's awesome. But two things you got to be careful of. Number one, it raises the price point like crazy high if you get all those electronics in there. And number two, it's maintenance. You gotta make sure that you exchange the batteries or pull the batteries out. If you leave it alone for more than like a year or two on display, it is going to corrode, and then that machine won't work. Those machine aspects won't work anymore unless you do cleaning and everything else, which is always a problem. To supplement that with toys like this, that are a little bit less, electronic-y, and put more into your imagination from a toy perspective, I think that's a good thing. The only problem is this item was, I think, retail was $80, which I think it's a little. I mean, now it is a little bulky. I'll give you that. It's a little heavy. It's got a lot of plastic to it. Okay, and it's got a lot of play feature to it. But without the electronics, I feel like an $80 price point is just a little high. Maybe $60, which is thinking what I ended up paying for it. But I mean, I think a $60 price point feels a little bit better. But then again, I know that it costs more every year to pay to make these kind of things. And I know the play sets are much cheaper. If you look at how much action figures have gone up in price, it stands to reason that the more plastic you have, the more it costs to make them. So I get that as well. And if I didn't want it, I would not have gotten it. But it was so cool to have a new item. I mean, the biggest thing I'm excited about, a new Star Wars vehicle. I got to tell you, when the Clone Wars was around, and even Rebels, it was so cool to be able to go into a store and find a new vehicle. Now, if you didn't watch the show, it wasn't as exciting. But when you watch the show and you see the minute I see any new Star Wars movie, when the prequels came out, to when the new sequel movies came out, to the Clone Wars, to the Rebels, anytime I saw a new vehicle on screen, I went, oh, please let them make that into a toy. And they did. And this time they did it with the vintage box. All right? I mean, this is what I'm talking about. A new toy in a vintage box, given that both something new and something nostalgic, really, really could. Hitting on all cylinders, as it were. Because I got to tell you, every time I look in the store and I see another TIE fighter, I can only own so many TIE. Even as a collector, I have only so much room for TIE fighters. I have watched YouTube videos where there have been guys or girls who have created, reenacted battles in their basement with TIE fighters hanging from string and everything, and that's amazing. I'm blown away by that. And they might have 20 TIE fighters, but wow, 20 TIE fighters. I personally, I don't have the space or the funds to buy 20 TIE fighters. I have a few. If they come out with new colors or a different wingspan or something like that, I usually try to get major variations. Okay, if they have the exact same one that they released 10 years ago with a new pilot in it, sometimes that pilot was released as a separate figure somewhere else. Yeah, I tend to leave them alone. Okay, unless I see something really cheap in there. But again, even then, it's like, where do I have the space for it? So this is really cool. I'm really hoping that they get a wider release. If not, it's okay. I got mine. Look around. Hasbro might still have them. Amazon Prime. People that are collectors, do Amazon Prime. Pay the extra money and do Amazon Prime. The free shipping, I am telling you right now, that is a lifesaver. You save so much, not only in not having to pay. Sometimes you avoid tax, but in most cases now you have to pay tax, which is fine. But you avoid so much. You save so much money not having to worry about shipping when you do that. And it's like 2-day shipping, so you're getting it pretty quickly. And on top of that, you're often finding discounts. You're often finding from major retailers. You don't have to, it's not like you have to buy it off of some guy that you don't know who they are. Sometimes you can do that, but a lot of times you can just get them and play. I think this came from Hasbro. So it is awesome to do that. Take advantage of it. Not to mention that, but if you have, if you're into videos, I mean, Prime also gives you Prime Video, which has a lot of, it's like another Netflix. And you're paying for that too, so you get that aspect of it as well. So there's a lot of shows on there that you can watch. It's a really cool system. So I applaud it. I think it's good. I will continue to renew my membership into that. And now with more shopping happening on Amazon, it makes more sense to do that. So that will do it for this week's episode of Darth Tuba Star Wars Unboxing Show. Return to like, subscribe. Check me out on Instagram and Twitter at Darth Tuba. Hit the notification button. Share my channel with anybody else who will watch. And check me out on Darth Tuba Star Wars Unboxing page on Facebook. Email me or leave comments if you have questions or suggestions of things to do for unboxings. As I said, it's a wonder. I love doing this for you guys. I love doing it for anybody who wants to watch it. I've had a few requests for more live. Live is tough. Live is a hard thing to do. Even in the summer when I have a little more time, there's just other things that are going on. It just makes it a challenge to do it at the right time. So I will, dabble in that from time to time. But we have more episodes, some new stuff, some old stuff, some more shelf talk coming up. So thank you so much for watching. And until next time, may the Force be with you. I am one with the Force. The Force is with me.